Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Now you
there we
did.
go.
I'm glad I said that because I hit record, but you have to hit another button, and I didn't see it ask me to do that. Okay, so I just sent Deb a picture of my 3 sticky notes sticking up there. Told her I couldn't out her, she needed to come back. Okay, iPad is entering. Good crowd tonight. So has everybody done all their Christmas shopping?
Well,
Lynette was finished in August, probably.
Ah,
I can't hear you. Are you muted? I mean, you're muted.
Thankfully, we don't do a whole lot of Christmas shopping. It's pretty low key. So,
Good.
good.
yep.
You know, I'm going to share this. I hope she doesn't mind. Yesterday, those of you who are part of Spark and Sketchbook School may have known Mitzi and Will Bennick. Some of you know them, some don't.
Yeah.
They have for the last year and a half, I guess it is. No, it'll be a year next month. They have been living in an Airstream. They sold their house and they're beautiful big Airstream all over the country. I forget. I think this is right. I think she said they've done 55,000 miles this year. They've been everywhere. This is the second time they've been to see us. So I spent the day with them yesterday and we were talking about Christmas shopping. And this was very interesting. I don't think there are she doesn't have a lot of people to buy for, but they're very close as family. They all make a list. They shop for each other, but they don't buy anything. And they make out a list of 7 things. These are 7 things I would buy for you. And then they present them to the person. They have to present it to them and tell them why they picked each one of these things. And here is where you can find it. And that person is obligated to go and buy one of those things on the list. And so you end up with exactly what you want and or what they wanted you to have, and you get to pick the one. I thought that was just so clever and fun because it's really more meaningful than just somebody a gift and hoping for the best.
Yes.
That would be fun to do with maybe just one friend or one person. I don't know if I could do it for my whole family. I've got too many to buy for. I thought that was clever. I got a friend that I might do that with next year. I bet she would do it. So anyway, I'm getting there. It's so much easier with Amazon than it is anything else. That sounds
What
kind
did you get your granddaughter? Did you decide what you were going to get for her?
I got her birthday present. I just gave her a gift certificate to I want a bunch of canvases.
You did Dick Blick so that you could get the coupon.
Got that. And she was here at Thanksgiving and she was in here. She always comes in her plays. And she loved these brushes that I have, what are they called? Biokia. So I ordered her some of those and something else. What else did I send her? I sent her something else. But I thought Mitzi had the neatest thing, and it was from, I can't remember the name of a company, but it's this folding bag. It's beautiful canvas and leather, and it comes in like 3 different colors. And it was all in hammer or something, all in something, but it has slots for pens. And she had the bigger one. There's a smaller one, but there was a bigger one. And it says that a sketchbook will fit in there, but she said she could never fit her sketchbooks in there. But it's a beautiful thing that has a leather that wraps up and buckles, and so I might get that for her for Christmas. I've got just about everybody else's, but I had to get past her birthday before I could buy her Christmas. So, has anybody bought anything interesting for themselves? Y'all shop for yourselves when you're shopping for other people?
Oh, absolutely.
Can't help it.
I know.
I think I shop for myself all year long.
Don't we all? But Christmas,
It's like I got to get off of Amazon.
Yeah.
I always buy everyone an ornament. And what inevitably happens is that I see one and I go, oh, that would be perfect for me. So I get 2 for them, 1 for me.
Yep. I do stuff like that too. Well, we've got a few things to do tonight. Someone had asked for the hot chocolate thing, so I will demonstrate that at one point in time. I'm going to talk to you about bookmarks and some things to do to get ready for class on Wednesday. But Miriam has some fun Christmas things for us tonight. So I'm just going to turn it over to Miriam, and I'll spotlight you.
I will switch my camera. And there we go. Okay. Let me make sure it's on focus. Seems a little blurry. Right. Okay. Okay. I thought I would do these three. These are Zentangle things, and then ways I might use them, a couple of ideas. And I'm going to do it on this tan tile because I like the way it shows up, both the highlighting and the shading. And I don't know that the gold or silver is going to show up on the camera really well, but if you do that, you can see. And I'll try to take some decent pictures when I post them. But we'll play with this. So I will start with that. And this is a Zentangle. They call it Renaissance tile. I'm going to move in. Let me zoom in a bit. I know if my document camera, it's very pixelated. I apologize. Just see if it's set for high definition. Let's see if that makes it better. Okay. Sorry. All right. So this is the Zentangle. They make these what they call bijou tiles that are small. And this is just a piece of cardboard I cut out because I actually like that it was a little darker myself, but we'll go. We're going to start with this easy one. This is called Ah. And I don't know if you can see this very well. Yeah, there's gold. There you go. That's a little better. I will do this. I'm going to do it in black because I think you'll be able to see better here. Wow, I apologize. My camera is, are you seeing it as pixelated as I am?
No, it's
okay.
It's clear.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Good. All right. So I thought it was like a nice little star kind of looking tangle. And I sometimes just put it around things like on an envelope, or I like to wrap things in that brown paper we talked about last week. And I'll just put a few things. My post office knows me because I like to decorate my packages. So is super simple. So I thought it'd be a great way for us to get started. And the whole point of is you do one and then a line opposite it. And the trick with this is really doing the opposite lines. And I'm going to turn my tile and I'm going to do another one, another line opposite. And the original tangle really actually goes on and on. And do this, and then I'm going to go opposite it. I'm going to go here. And you can put as many of these lines as you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this off. But I didn't go opposite. See, Janice said about finishing the lines. I tend to get ahead of myself when I know where I'm going. 1, 2, and then I go here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go here. So it could almost look like a firecracker. And then at the end of each line, you can put as big or as small a dot as you want. It can have all different kinds of effects, if they're big or they're small. And this center shape, that negative space that gets left, that'll have an effect. Sometimes it'll get oblong, sometimes it just can do all different kinds of shapes. You can, if you want to be more particular, create a center for yourself with a pencil, even though we don't use pencils in Zentangle. And then you can do one. Sometimes I like to kind of flick it so that the line gets thinner at the end. And I can even maybe stop there. Maybe I'm gonna do really small little dots now. And you can see there I got a very different look than up there. this, when you have the center, it can also leave, if you want, you can take your, I'll use a white one. You take a gel pen or color, or maybe I'll do gold. No, that won't show up as well. And you could add something in the center, a sparkle. I could even, if I wanted to, do white in between here. I think some of my gel pens have gotten old. I feel like the color and the gel part have separated. I can get a whole different effect that way. You can kind of see the white a little bit. So that was, you know, I created a circle or a oval there in the middle. I don't typically shade these because usually they're like a little embellishment that are just kind of in the background. Couple other. One of the ways I like to do this, I like this kind of look. I don't know why, it just appeals to me. And I will do like the vertical, let's say the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock will be longer.
Hmm.
Then I'm going to turn it. And then the 3 o'clock and then 9 o'clock are a little bit. Is that white showing up? Okay. Yeah, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock a little bit. So it's kind of cross-like. And then these in-between ones are even smaller. And sometimes I like to fill that. Those could be gold, they could be whatever. And I'm going to put the little dots at the end. To go over. Gel pen didn't quite. I have to buy those gel pens that you all recommended. I've been trying to use the things I have, but I think they got too old. One thing you can kind of do to make this pop, if you want, sometimes, I can go like along the side. I'm going to use a blue, and I'm just going to barely go along this edge. Really showing up more on the. I can do that. I can put the white in the center and kind of a little bit of an outline there. I'm going to go all the way around it. These are pretty too if you just do them in like a sparkly pen. Like as a background thing. And this one up here got a little more geometric, kind of more, to me, it looked a little Southwestern, but I did the, okay, it's showing up. I did the 6 and the 9, and I did it more. I'll switch to my other pen.
My baby.
Oh. So I'm making it almost more square here. And then instead of flicking, I I actually put smaller, almost like an L shape. I auraed these lines. And then you can decide. So sometimes I like to do one thing and look at it. So like I could put my dots here, the 4 on the bigger lines, and then look and decide if I want to put more. But if you see, we kind of took that same shape and just played with it. Sorry, my pen got messy there. Or I could take my gold pen. I could put gold out here. That gold is not going to show up for you guys. It's just discussing that I could do a different color is my point on these dots. Not after I put the white down, apparently. Could put something in the center. We'll go with gold because it goes over everything. Not really showing up for you. Sorry. Oh, huh. I couldn't even see what I did there. Okay, we'll disregard that one. I'll start that over. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. 4. Let me emphasize the lines in the middle just a little more. And then I could decide, like, I could put dots. Maybe just I'm going to put these 4. Ones. Or maybe I'll put 1 in the center. And I guess the point of like this is you can take a basic shape and play with it, and it has a whole different style. So here we did a round center. Here we did multiple. Here we did the, just the more classic cross shape with the shorter ones. And you can take this one thing and this almost looks more firecrackery to me. And if you change the colors of it, you could do colors, and then, how firecrackers are like red with blue at the end or blue with white at the end. Different patterns there. So that one is called Ah. And this is like one, so one thing is, since we're in a watercolor class, when you get a palette and you have scraps of watercolor, if you just save your scraps, like I keep all my scraps and then I just do little squares of the colors and I let it dry. And then sometimes I have extra like cardstock colored, and I'll find a color that looks nice and try to mat it. And then I use those and I'll make them into little cards. This is a grocery bag that I cut. And I just did that star pattern and I mounted it. There wasn't enough room for matting, so I just did some dots, or you could do any kind of border. And then you can write inside, or you can insert, sometimes when I make something and I'm so afraid I'm going to mess up the writing, I'd actually glue a little white piece of paper after I wrote exactly what I wanted inside.
I do that too.
Yeah, I did that. I did a class with a friend and I actually printed stuff and then I glued them in. But this would be like an idea. So this was matted on the grocery store bag. And then you can tangle a border around the edge, or you can put dots. But it's a great way not to waste that extra paint sometimes. just keep your scraps and then just even solid colors. I've got two colors. You want to see how they blend. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Sometimes I will draw, I'll show you a sheet. Let's see. Well, that is not quite blowing out, isn't it? Oh, see, so I'll draw templates on a scrap sheet of paper. I cut out little squares of sizes of things that I like. And then I can lay them on there, trace it, and then I know those are sizes that fit the various, either my little grocery bag things, which I made. These are 3x3 or just under 3x3 because at Michael's you can buy these cute little envelopes. And so I can have a little envelope. And so I know that's one size I like. And then when you go to Michael's, you can either cut these out by hand, which I've done, or, sometimes when I get a little coupon, I'm not sure, I can buy some little gift tags. And that's where I made some of the different sizes that I know would fit on. Oops, I have a little one for this one too. But if you have a scrap watercolor paper and you got a couple of these templates and you like to make a few gift tags, you can always do that and not let any of it go to waste, which is nice because some of these paints, I don't know, it's fun. It's also fun sometimes because when I put colors down and then I look at them later and I really like them, it's like, oh, that was pretty. If I just written down the name of what it was. So I try to do that more. All right. The next tangle we're going to do, this is called Blue. I'm sorry. Does anybody have any questions with that one?
I thought that was fun. I can think of lots of ways to use that. I like that.
It's so simple and it really looked like if you have that Wink of Stella, that can be fun. Or if you have a glitter pen, or like if you can see my gold one right there, the little white center.
Miriam, will you show that? What is that Wink of Stella? Will you show that again?
I will. So Wink of Stella is a glitter pen, basically. And if I can get it to show up, it's a struggle to get things to show up sometimes on the camera.
Sure.
Oops, this one.
We
That
can
one is-
sell it kind of like our Mod Podge glitter in a pen.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, that's exact. It's a little thinner. And it comes out in a pen tip. Yep.
Perfect.
It
Thank
comes
you.
Does it
clear,
come?
but
Does it come in color, Miriam?
yes. It also comes in this like goldish greenish color. If you can kind of see. Can you see the sparkles there?
Yes. Yeah.
And then it comes in this, I don't know how they call this silver green, and that was gold green, but so you can see
Yes.
the little green there.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes in clear. The one that wasn't primed is clear. But it's a nice little fun. It's not quite as thick as that Mod Podge.
Right, because it has to come out the end of that pen.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So the
Thank
Mod
you.
Podge has more weight to it. Yep. Yep. So yeah, there's a lot of fun you can do with this. It's so simple and just a nice little accent, I think. The next one we're going to do is Luminesque. You can tell me if you see holly or a snowflake. I think it's one of those pictures. Do you see the vases or the face, right? When I first saw it, I saw holly, and then I was like, oh, I see a snowflake. So I've seen both. It is in Zentangle a grid pattern. We will do this grid pattern, then I'll show you two different ways I did it. This is super simple, and I know everyone here is enough of an artist. You could do this. The thing I like about Zentangle is sometimes I don't have to think too much. And when I have these reference pages, I can look and, oh, that'd be a cute thing to use here or there. So we'll do this one next. The trick to this is when we do the grid, well, I'll show you as we're going. Don't overthink your grid. It can totally be wonky. It doesn't have to be perfect. This was all hand drawn. And I'm going to start, if you can see these two triangles right here in the middle. So kind of somewhere in the middle of my tile, I'm going to do, and I want to keep them fairly wide and don't make it too small because we need to fit those leaves inside. And then I'm going to do the one below it. Yeah, I'm just doing the best I can in terms of So that's the beginning of my grid. I'm going to do the triangles next to it. I'm going to do that by continuing this line up to be fairly even with that other one, with the top there. I'm going to continue this line down to be, just visually even with the other. And then I'll close off my triangles. Okay. And I want to do the left side now, do the same thing. I'm going to continue this line on up. And you kind of have parallel lines here and parallel lines here. There are a lot of ways you could draw this, but I'm just following the pattern right now. I'm going to continue this line down. Connect those. And I'm going to do these two going out side to side. So you can kind of see there what we've got. You could make this grid go, I mean, you could do a long border, you could do a big square, you could do this in a light color in the background of something. So there would be a lot of options here. The thing I found, the trick with this tangle in my mind, especially in these centers where it's close, you're going to do this line that kind of comes out and goes up, two little bumps and back. When you take off from that corner, bring it out a little bit, because if you take off right away, there's no room on the opposite side, if that makes sense. So bring it down, go out, up, kind of that holly, half a holly leaf there. And by kind of restating that line, when we do this side, you're going to have room. Now I'm going to mirror it. It's easier for me to turn it over and do it. So here I'm going to mirror my holly leaf, as best I can. I'm not too worried about it. And then I'm going to go on another side of my triangle. Whoop, and up and down. And I'm going to go the third side of my triangle. Up, up, and down. And now I'm going to work to my left. I'm going to do this left one because I already started it. Turn your tile or your paper to make it easy for your hand to draw this. Turning and doing the next side. Go ahead and do the one next to it. And we're just working along all of these lines. So you can just work your way all the way around. You could do triangle after triangle. I'm just going to keep working my way around. And up, and up. And then mirror it, mirror it. Down. I kind of find it interesting, this little negative space that's created. And I was thinking, like, when you do this, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. You can almost bring the next leaf to kind of point to that one, up, down, bring this one to point to that, and down. Kind of can give you a little guide. Just keep working my way. Don't have to do too much thinking, just drawing.
It's kind of bothering me because those negative spaces of mine all look so different. So
they are very different. I mean, and look at this one. They are very different. And I looked at a bunch of these, and I just learned about this tangle last week, and I went out and looked just because I like to see variations and stuff. I didn't see anybody who's were super consistent, and I really wanted to try to make them consistent, but I thought that's not what this is about. I'd like to play with it and see more how to do it, but
I think if I were thinking more about it, the last one I did, I thought about it and it turned out better, but
yep. And I do believe there will be ways to do that. Um, if I had clues, other than I think the one thing is you can, like, ultimately it kind of makes a little circle here. So if you bring those points kind of toward each other, it helps. Um, like here, if I go toward that, if you think about a circle with leaf shapes coming off it, I guess that negative space is kind of like that. And I still need to do the outer edges up here. 1, 2, and then down below. Yeah, mine are very wonky.
for some reason now all I can see is the negative shape and not the holly shape. I wish I had
Uh-oh.
shade.
Okay, we'll deal with that. We'll fix that soon. With the shading and the highlighting, I see it too. I do.
Like Wile E. Coyote or whatever that guy is.
It looks like ears and a long nose, doesn't it? Yep. Nope. Just shut my door. So one way we can kind of recede that negative shape, I think, is we can shade here. Instead of shading the leaves, I actually shaded the space behind them. And I brought it out a little bit into the circle, but not too far. But I am going to fill a lot of that with a pencil. So I don't mind when I smear it with the tortillon. This, I think, helps those holly leaves kind of pop. So I actually enjoy shading. I know some people it's not their favorite thing, but I love pencils.
Pencils too.
There's something about the sound of it even to me that's so relaxing.
Yeah, sound, the feel.
Mhm.
It's good.
So I'm trying to keep the darkest value kind of along the edge of the holly leaf, and then I'm going to let it kind of, and in those corners. And then I'll use the tortillon to blend it out shortly here. And I will also go all the way around the edge of the outside with just a light, not too dark, but a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm going to take my tortillon, my blending stump, and I'm going to blend that. If I can figure out where I did with it. Okay. I'm just going to kind of gently blend these out so that all those negative spaces have a little bit of gray. But I try not to flatten it all to the same value. And when I'm working on like a project or making a gift or something, I'll spend more time. I'll go back and I'll restate. Sometimes I'll redraw the black lines over the graphite again because the graphite can kind of dull the black lines. Sometimes I'll put another layer of the graphite just to give depth right along an edge. So there are little things that you can do to add. In Zentangle they call it adding love. And I don't know if that helps at all for you there, Janice. Getting rid of some of that. It does, the shading, causes that other part to reseed and the leaves to kind of pop out more, I think. So I'm just putting a little more.
I'm finding I'm using this. I mean, what pencil are you using? Is yours a 2B or is it black?
This is a 4B, and especially for cameras, I use these, they're Faber-Castell, the matte, the graphic matte,
Yeah.
because so often it gets that shiny,
Mm-hmm.
somebody told me Generals makes a layout pencil that's also really dark, and not as shiny. I haven't tried that one.
My pencil looks so blue on
Yeah.
this. Is yours like that too? I mean, mine looks blue.
Are
Like,
you using regular, like these matte ones if I use a normal 2B, they just look blue to me,
this
especially on the camera.
this is no, I don't have the matte one. This is a Kimberly 4B.
Yeah. So far the ones I've liked the most are these Faber-Castell hit graphic matte.
I've got so many right here. Let me see what I've got. I don't
I
know.
know.
They're
And
green.
I think they go all the way to boy, I think it's 14B. I
Ooh,
mean, they go way up there.
I
Yeah.
mean, how black can you go? I mean,
At that point.
let me try this one.
And I think I did this with just a regular 2B, so you can kind of see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I did on this is I just used, and I think we could use I use my gel pen because it pops more, but I think you could also use the white charcoal. And I just put white in these leaves. So this is the gel pen. We'll try one leaf. See, I feel like this gel pen now, it quit. Now it's working.
That's my problem with gel pens. I can't keep them working.
Yeah, today's been interesting. I'm just getting rid of them now if they don't work. I thought I've got to get to have some that do. I'm going to try, that's gel pen. I'm going to try my white chalk pencil. That one's a little harder to control though.
I think I'm gonna try the colored pencil, white colored pencil. See,
Yeah, that would be another.
because I have
This
really-
one I did gel pen, and if you can see, I didn't worry about getting it all filled in. I just kind of did a line along either side of the black. And if I went over my black, I touched the black line up again. But this is,
Ooh, so the white colored pencil is beautiful. This
it works better. Okay.
where's the
On the tan.
yes, beautiful.
All right, we're switching to white colored pencil.
It's very organic looking. You can get some form by not, you can press hard and light and get
Mhm.
almost shading on it by not filling it all in. I love it.
Yep.
This Stabilo what's it say? Aquarellable.
Aquarelle.
What's this aquarellable? I never noticed that.
Oh,
before.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a Stabilo 8052, I think is what most people call it. I can't remember. It's so soft and creamy and yummy.
Stabilo aqua. What'd you say that was?
It's aquarellable, like you're able to aquarelle with it. Soluble is what they're trying to say. Aquarellable.
Okay. Should be my 2025 goal, a great gel pen.
Well, this one that was it Laura that told us about this? Laura, you're here. And Laura, this Papermate one. Is it called Joy? What is it called? This one's
Yeah.
It's been good.
Was it Ink Joy?
Yes, Ink Joy, that's it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, they're great.
They are post-it noted on my computer screen, and I was like, nope, I got to go through the ones I have. But sometimes you just need what you need.
We're so good.
It's Christmas after all.
My ink joy skips.
Really?
Yep.
You should have taken it back.
Well, more hassle at Walmart than it's worth. But I'll hang in there, might try it again.
Sharon, I found the same thing, that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So
Yeah.
I just,
And maybe I've got something in the roller tip too. I don't know. I don't know.
I was thinking initially I might be a little bit dried out because maybe it was sitting on the shelf at Walmart for a while. But now that I've gotten using it, it actually has been more consistent.
Okay. All right. Well, I just probably need to work it a little more. Okay.
Yeah, keep working it.
Wonder if you did the hair dryer on it, would that make it a little smoother?
Yeah, great idea.
No, it may ruin it.
Well, I mean, it's $3. It's worth the try.
Find out. Let us know.
Who will be the guinea pig?
Well, I've got
I
three.
don't mind. I will do that.
Okay.
And then I thought here, there are these little centers that to me just begged something. So I put silver gel pen. I'll use the gold one here. We'll see how well it shows up. But I also thought if you really, I'm kind of teaching the Zentangle Tangle here. But if you really wanted to, you could almost draw this grid first in pencil and put berries. I think berries would be fun to do little berries in these sections.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go over there and get some red acrylic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Those
Oh.
berries, they need to
Like
be
a
red.
Posca pen, right? Like a Posca.
Yeah.
Posca will go over that. I had forgotten. I forgot about that. Yeah, acrylic. I couldn't think of what would go over all that.
My list for Michael's for tomorrow is growing ever longer. I love it.
All right.
Did you all know that if you spend $40 at Michael's, you have till the 14th, and they'll give you a $15 rebate, like they'll give you $15 reward money.
Wow.
Yes, I did know that. By accident, I went there and it happened to me.
Yeah, so I did it by accident, and then I went back the next day, and then yeah, so,
It just jumped in my cart and I bought it and I couldn't help myself. It just happened.
The supplies fell into my cart.
It was in my Amazon cart and I didn't realize it when I pressed buy. That actually has happened to me before.
How did that happen?
I always get those coupons after I spend money. I never get them at the right time.
True.
That's where I keep my little list of, okay, I've got a $5, because sometimes, it's like $5. And I'll be like, if I'm in the Michaels area, I'll go buy those envelopes or some gift tag bases or something. And I try to keep a Michaels things I can get if I don't think I need anything, but my coupon's about to expire.
Okay,
the best thing, what
Go ahead.
I love to do is get a 40%. I wait till I get a 40% coupon before I use my reward, and then sometimes I'll have a $10 reward, and then I'll go get something, the most expensive thing, and then it's like $5.
Yeah, feel good.
$50. So I love that, and the people will look at me like, "Wow." Anyway,
I want to show y'all my acrylic paint and how bright it looks on this. I'm going to switch to me real quick.
Yep, I want to see.
I got to go back. I've forgotten how to do it. How do I get back?
Spotlight you.
Spotlight. Oops, got the wrong camera on. Let's go up here and get the camera. Oh, why do I do that every time? You would think I would learn. Oops, where are we here?
Wow.
How red it is.
Yes.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that just the Walmart craft paint?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's the
Hobby Lobby.
okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
the deco. Yep. Cool.
I've
Yeah,
been
the
using more and more of this because it's more opaque. I've been using the white on top of my watercolors instead of white gouache. So that red was just so beautiful in there. Okay, I had to show you. We'll go back. Sorry.
Well, and I tried the Posca and it kind of got muddied up in the graphite.
You know, that's what I find with the Posca sometimes. That I don't know if there comes a time when it doesn't have as much paint on that tip as it used to.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I tried to put some on the paper next to it and pick it up, but it's
Those Posca pens dry up pretty quick too. I went out and bought a whole bunch of them one time and I haven't used them. And some of them I just are already dry.
Oh.
Do you think it matters, Janice? I read like you need to do all of those things, leave them on their side, make sure you don't have them all standing or at least the ink should be going into the nib.
Right.
Somebody told me-
I had mine standing up for a long time and I recently laid them on their sides because so many were drying up.
Okay. And if you wanted, you could go put like a highlight. Mine's too wet, but you could put a gold or take a little bit of your bleed proof white ink since our gel pens are not cooperating. Like a dot. Highlights do amazing things, I think.
I love the gold on this brown paper though. This brown paper that I have, I've shown you that before, it's cardstock. When I turn it sideways in this light, it almost glitters. It has such a wonderful tooth on it. The paper itself almost looks glittery in this light. Pretty.
Yeah.
That was the one that you got on Amazon, Janice. Is it Dr. Brown's?
Yes. Oh, it's got something Uncle Fred's or something.
Uncle, yeah, something like that. Okay.
Right here. Yes, Uncle somebody. Uncle Paul.
Oh.
Uncle Paul.
Okay.
It is the best. And I'm using one of these little corner cutters to make the corners round. I'm just cutting the little squares out of it and using my this thing. I'm gonna add my.
I want to find you. Show the corner cutter again.
I'm trying to find me so I can put me up there. I can't find me on here. Well, hold on. Here, go
Where
for
are
it.
you?
Where am I, folks? Do y'all see me on here?
on the third line of mine,
Yeah, third line
to
down.
the left, to the left.
Well, I've got this in a line. Wait a minute.
Maybe you're seventh.
Lost on your own screen.
I absolutely don't see me. I don't know what's happened to me.
You're looking, hey, remember, it's your camera looking down at your desk, not your face.
There you are.
You have an iPhone and
Oh, it's that messy thing is me. Okay.
there.
It's the workspace.
Trust me, mine looks exactly like that right now.
I wondered who had such a mess, and it was me.
My that
Here's the thing. I've got this, it's a corner cutter. I also have this corner cutter, but it wasn't cutting it has 3 different rounds,
Mhm.
but it wasn't cutting that heavy cardstock very well. So I got,
Mm.
it's always been my favorite. I've had this one for a long time.
So Janice, do you cut out your squares by? I hate cutting with scissors. Do you, or do you have a punch? Because
No, I've been cutting these out by hand because we were just sitting here, but I usually go over to my paper cutter and cut them that way.
okay, I have a paper cutter. I could do that. I just don't do that.
I'll show you how this corner cutter works. I drew the lines on there because I was sitting here and I didn't want to walk over there. And I just stick
We
that.
can't. Oh, there we go.
See how the corner's down in there? You have to make sure it's down in there.
Mhm.
Just a minute. I don't think that's real square. It feels like you're cutting your fingernails or your dog's toenails or something.
Mhm.
My dog would be screaming and yelling and so, but so then it comes out like that. That one's right there is not good. I think I moved it when I was doing it. So, anyway, I'll go back to Miriam, sorry.
Yep. Oh, and I'll show 2 other things with this one before we do the last one. So obviously, like, I mean, I know this isn't the grid, right? But you could use it as a border to go around something. You could use it like today, if this is an envelope, do the corner and then address it. So just and this is just a black marker, and then I took my, combos or whatever and splashed some color in there. This was the green. I used green micron in red, and I just put some gold. I was trying not to overthink anything. So different things you could do. You could put somebody's name in there. I mean, this was the piece of paper I happened to have. But so, and then the other, and if we want to do this, I can show real quickly. You can turn it into a snowflake.
Nice.
So this, if you can see, plus sign, multiplication sign, right? A plus sign, the multiplication sign. Everybody see that? Plus
Yes.
multiplication. And then I just connected triangles. And the way I did that, and I can do it really quickly to show you because, and I'll just do this on a piece of paper. So if I were doing, I'm going to draw big so you guys can see. I'm going 3 inches. Where's the middle of that? I'm just so it doesn't get so wonky. I lose the point of it. So, and then even with the ruler, I'm not. So then I just I figured, okay, I'm gonna go at 3/4 of an inch. And then wherever this one hit 3/4 of an inch, and it kind of gave it a shape. Whoops, I'm not going to make it here because I got way too wonky. But I was trying to keep that because snowflakes are fairly symmetrical. So I was keeping this distance right here. Had I done my plus sign and other sign a little more accurately, I'd be closer. 3/4 of an inch. And 3/4, oopsie. That did not work. I apologize, folks. 3/4. And that gave me enough room. I pushed this far out enough that now when I did that went the wrong way. The leaf shape, right? It had room in there and you just kept building it. And on the edge, I just did one. I just did up, up, out. And you could, you could put a thing at the end. You could do whatever we wanted to make it snowflake. But I thought it kind of lent itself to a nice little snowflake. I did this on the craft paper with the, I filled it in with chalk pen, and then I tried that. I just got some of that sparkly, I don't know if you guys can see it sparkling there. The Mod Podge. I just got that the other day. So I stuck that on there. And little gold dots.
It looks awesome
It was just kind of a different way to do a snowflake, kind
Yeah.
of fun.
and very
I think-
effective.
If you measured it, I mean, this is one I might actually measure just to make it more symmetrical, because obviously if you don't, it gets a little wonky maybe. I got lucky on this one, apparently. Maybe because I was confined in my space. So, yeah. So that was one thing. And then, these kinds of borders. And then you could do a grid, or you could do a whole border of this square, like if you ran that up the whole thing. So I thought those were some fun different ways to do that.
You could even connect the snowflakes in a border, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, that would be pretty too. Yeah. Yep.
You know what it looks like? It looks like, was it a compass rose or on a
Yep.
map? Is that what they call them? Rose compass or compass?
Compass.
The-
Compass rose.
Compass rose,
Compass
isn't
rose.
it? Yeah.
The
compass.
wheel of a sailboat.
Yeah, in
Oh yeah, like a ship, like the captain's wheel, right?
Yep, yep.
in quilting, it might be a variation of like mariner's compass.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Well, it's funny because a lot of quilters come do Zentangle, and then I've known people who've taken Zentangle patterns and quilted them.
Oh, wow.
Yep. All right, we have one more for tonight, which is fun and easy, and I think so darn cute. I just loved it. And I think this is that paper Genesis. So the difference, like to me, this paper is so washed out looking. This is, it's almost gold looking, and you kind of see how it almost shimmers.
Yeah, can you see when you turn it at an
Yeah.
angle on the light, it's almost like it has glitter on it.
Yep. And then that's just the paper. And I love this stuff. I don't know if it's Uncle Paul's. I have to look because I'll have to look at my past orders. It's just what I had. But I loved it. I loved the richness of it. I quit using the Zentangle. Trying to use my stuff up, but I love this. I just think it really lends itself. So we'll do
Jen,
this.
Wait, is Miriam spotlighted? Because I'm seeing two people on my screen.
Okay,
Am I the only one?
no,
That way I can see. I guess I have bad eyes. I can't see very well.
it's okay. I forgot to take me off. There you go.
Thank you. That way I can see.
Okay.
Thanks.
So this one's called bonus. I guess be obvious why, right? And this is a variation. I have a friend, her name's Annika. She's like this awesome organic. She used to make jewelry. Now she does Zentangle. She added the ribbons to it and I liked it. So she's a big believer in steel like an artist. So I stole like an artist to add the ribbons, but the actual tangle is just the bow. So we will do that. Let's start. We're going to start with a center, and it is about the size of my pen cap. It's not huge, but it's not tiny. You want enough of a center there. It can be in the center of your, wherever it is, of your tile or wherever you're drawing. And I'm just going to do a nice little orb. I am going to do 5, for lack of a better word, you can watch me for just a minute. Petals. I don't want to make them too wide, and I'm keeping them. Yeah, they're not too wide. That's the best way to put it. When I do 5, I tend to think of, when you have the person who is, here's the body, the arms, the legs. Whoops, I didn't do that a good job. I kind of think like this, like I've got, whoops, his leg should, my brain is, yeah. Here's going up, going down, and then, no, and the leg, why am I doing this wrong today? The legs are going out and the arms are going up. So I try to think, I don't know what that is, 12 o'clock, and then I go over a little bit. You could do this with just 4 and do 12, 6, 9. Three. But I'm going to do 5 little. I like odd numbers, I guess. So it kind of looks like a little flower when we start, right? And it's a bow, so they don't have to be perfectly evenly spaced or all the same size. And the next step is going to be this line. I'm starting at the base. I'm going to go up. I'm going to kind of do a little dip and I'm going to wrap around. So I'm starting at the base here. I'm going to go up, a little dip, and I'm just going to take it right around that curve, just barely. And I like to kind of restate that line just a little. And I like to have a little dip there. So everybody saw that? Up, down, around. And I'm going to turn my tile and I'm going to repeat classic Zentangle. When I go up, I go pretty far so that I have a thing to dip down and then go around. But how you do that is, that what will make everything unique and everything just a little different because it is handmade. Going up, dipping down, wrapping around. Okay. I'll kind of have the basic there. So like a pretty simple way to kind of draw a bow, right? I'm going to go ahead and add these ribbons. So here, I'm going to add these 2 first, the little cutoff part. And the way I like to do that is just come down and I'm going to do like a parallel line because I'm not good at randomly drawing a V. I give myself a dot and then I go up to my dot and up to my dot. And here I'm going to come out. I'm going to come over, give myself that dot in the middle, up to my dot, and up to my dot. And I'm going to draw the ribbon that goes behind. And you could add the ribbon or not add the ribbon. It doesn't, I don't think that's a make it or break it with this. I just like to show you the whole thing and then you can use whatever is going to work for you. Pretend it's going kind of sort of straight across there. Now we'll go do all the little things that give it the fun stuff. Everywhere where it kind of dips down, I'm going to bring that line, I'm going to just flick it down. So I kind of go, whoop, whoop. Give it that feeling of a fold. Whoop.
Do we have to make that sound too?
Yes, please.
I was going to ask the exact same thing. I love it.
I make all kinds of sounds when I'm drawing.
Like, oh. I know, it's funny. But then I did 2 little flicks here. You could do 1, 2, you could do 3. Like right here, I really only have room for 1, but maybe I can fit another one. And I do think this, so one thing I find when I flick, I don't know if anybody else, if I hold my pen in a position for a minute, let a little ink bleed and then flick it, I get a nice kind of base. Oops, I went a little far there. This is like such a simple little thing, but I think it's really cute. And I do think this is one the shading is really adds a lot, the shading and the highlighting. Big difference between these two. But part of it is the paper. This paper is just so pretty. So I am going to shade. I'm going to start in the center and kind of work my way out. I'm going to shade around the center. I'm going to help that pop out a little bit. Then I'm going to shade. I'm going to do all the shading, then I'll go back with the tortillon. I'm going to go on the inside edge of the loops here. So it looks like that first loop we made, like this part is behind the part that has the crease, because that's the inside of the loop of the bow. One of the good things about patterns is you get to practice it a few times. Go around, okay. And work our way all the way around. And I'll, yep, go ahead. Like the shading I do, like I said, I like to shade. If you don't want to do as much, this isn't like there's a right or wrong. This is just a place to start or observe and decide what you want to do, because shaded the inside of those. Now I'm going to shade where these little creases are. I'm just going to add just a little shade to the, I'm going to the left side of each of them. Well, it's the right side now that my tile turned. And while we don't typically do a light source in Zentangle, I like this one. If you can see, my light source was up here. I didn't want to shade all the way around the bow, but I did want to give it some depth. So if I imagined a light source here, you can see that I shaded the bottom side of things, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pretend there's kind of a light source, and I'm going to shade to kind of make this pop out right around this edge. And we'll soften all this with the blending in a minute. Then I'm kind of not shading above that, the ribbon that goes across. I'm going to shade along the bottom of that. And I'm going to shade under the two quote unquote cut ribbons. I think that's the shading I'm going to do. So I'm now going to take my, and I don't know if you remember what it looked like before, but just even that bit of shading, all of a sudden there's so much more dimension. It gets kind of fun. Take my little tortillon and just soften the edge. I don't want to create everything the same value again, so I'm just kind of touching the edge and softening, pulling that graphite out just a little, but I'm not even going all the way up to the line because I don't want to have it all be the same value. Just want to pull a little graphite out to soften that edge. So a lot of times I'll go along in little circles to smooth an edge. If I want it to feel like it's going somewhere, I'll tend to flick. So if, I don't really have that here, but I'll pull it in flicks. But if I just want it softened, I do little circles a lot. But you can experiment kind of what you think works for you. Oh, and you know what? The one thing too, we need to give it a little shadow, right? Like a little smiley face down here on the bottom of our center orb. Just a little. Sorry, I forgot to draw that one. Because when you put the highlight with that, it will definitely give it more dimension. You can see. Okay. Almost done. I'm going to take my chalk pen and just give a little contrast, but I don't want it to blend into my, like, I don't want the charcoal or the chalk to blend into the graphite because that'll just turn gray. So I'm just lightly going on the inside of these, the inside of the bow first. And a lot of times I don't even smear my white because it's just for a pop. But if I did, you do get a different tortillon because if you use your black tortillon, you'll end up with gray. And put just a little white on the top of my orb here. And then I'm going to put just a little bit where it looks like my bow is kind of poofing up. Oh. I have a lopsided. And then I'm going to do the center. Well, I'm going to do where these cut ribbons kind of poof out. I'm going to kind of do a little bit here to have this. It's one of the reasons I like these mid-tone papers because you can add both highlights and here I will take my white tortillon. Oopsie, I'll use black. And I'm just going to gently. So if you can see, I kind of. And the last two things I did on this are white gel pen and gold gel pen. And starting in the center, I just really defined that pop right up here. And then I went along this outer edge. I'm also going to go right along the edges of my ribbon and do a row of white and then a row of gold. I think this could also look really cute, just drawn in black ink and then use your, well, I did one. Somewhere my samples disappeared, but I know it looks really cute. You draw this and then just use watercolor and the different values and just fill it in, like thicker on the inside or maybe a little brighter on top. And it looks really cute. Or you can do that. I don't know, is it called Giselle or Glycel, Janice? It's the French where you shade with pencil and then you go over it with watercolor.
Grisai, I think. Is that how you pronounce
Grisai.
it? It's Grissale, I believe.
Yes.
Gris-
And I will try to make a sample of that because I did that and it looked really pretty.
Gris in French, Gris means gray.
And use your pencil to do the gray value and then you use the watercolor to do the color, right? That was my understanding.
I've never done it with watercolor, but I've done it with colored pencil. Grisai with colored pencil works beautifully. And sometimes I'll just use instead of a gray colored pencil, I'll use just a 2B pencil for the gray.
I did just a quick floral class and she had a shade and that's what made me with pencil and then just do watercolor over it, like more washy than, you know, and it actually looked really pretty.
I'll have to try that. I've never done that before.
Yeah, it looked, and I did one of these like that and it was cute. So sometimes I'm seeing like I wanted to add a little shading right here to make this stand up from the ribbon or right here. You know, you can just take a minute and look at it and like if you want to touch it up, feel free. Again, no right or wrong. And then the last thing I did on this, everything shows up so much better here to me. It's so rich looking. It's kind of funny, but anything will work. Nobody's got them side by side, I guess. I'm going to go just with some gold just to add some metallic. Doing lines for a little bit of shine. On these edges. And I'm going to go kind of where I put the white. I'm just put a little gold there. So a little sparkle. If any of my bow, for example, here, I went over the black line with the white. I will tend to go back and look, okay, I'm gonna touch that up and just clean it up. Because I think that just helps. Touch that. So you can go back and if you want something to pop, sometimes if you restate a line, maybe to give these little loops a little more definition, I'll go just do that one part of them. But I think it's a cute little tangle. How it does not matter how many loops you do. You can do 4, 6, 8, 5, any number you want. And it is called Bonus. It's by a German tangler, and I didn't write down her name, did I? No. I will include that in the follow-up information. But cute, I think.
We are not going to have any notes this week since Deb is not here. But we can add that. I can add that to the.
I'll do my, I won't do it tonight because I do want to do the watercolor wash of this one, but I'll get it out tomorrow and I'll include that information with the photos, like when I do the follow-up of the samples. And yeah, I'll send that.
That gold looks so pretty on that brown paper. I love that gold.
Yeah, you can't, unfortunately, the cameras don't catch it as nicely as you can kind of see it there a little bit. You turn it.
Yeah, just barely.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
They're really cute. Well, thank you all. I hope, and if anybody has questions, I'm always available and yeah, and I'll send this with, I'll draw it out so that you guys can see the structure behind it. You know what to do with it, just so you don't have to worry about remembering that. Okay.
Thank you, Mary. This
Thank
is
you. That was awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
so much fun.
Love doing it with you guys. Thank you.
All right, let me back. Oh, I gotta put me on the here and get me back up here. There we go. There we are. Okay, that was fun. Fun. I loved the little bow. I love doing bows. That was good. All righty, now let me clean up after myself. Before I demonstrate this little cup of hot chocolate, does anybody have anything that you want to show or a question you want to ask? Have any show and tell tonight? Love to see you. Let's see, Lynette has her.
I do.
Lynette, let me take Lynette first. She had her hand first. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, Lynette.
So this actually isn't a show and tell. I have two very quick questions.
Okay, good.
I heard you say, I keep hearing you say that you use, that on your palette you have phthalo green. And when I looked it up, I saw that Daniel Smith has a phthalo green bluish shade and a phthalo green yellow shade. I'm thinking that the one that you have is the bluish shade. Can you just confirm that?
Yes. Yes.
It's
I always hate this question because I'll be perfectly honest with you. I can't tell a whole lot of difference. Anybody else have anything to add on that? I can't tell a whole lot of difference in those two. And I know there must be, but I always go for, when I buy the phthalo blue, I buy the green shade. When I buy the phthalo green, I use the blue shade. I don't know.
okay. And then one more very quick question. I was doing something this afternoon and I was consulting my color journal. And for some reason, I could not find, in a previous project, you did like a silvery winter green. And I feel like it was that you mixed Hunter Green Deep with French Ultramarine, but I don't think that it wasn't looking like what I thought I wanted it to look.
We're going to use that in class, I think, if I haven't decided exactly which one of these we're going to. Let me demonstrate that for you, because I think that's an important thing for us to learn. And here's the thing. I refilled my palette today, so I've got a lot of soft paint in here. All right, give me a second just to clean up. Gotta get all this stuff out of the way. I'm always so nice and neat when I start. I've told you all this before, and then it looks like an explosion in here. So
If you could see my desk right now, it looks like an explosion has gone off on it. So yes.
Mitzi and Will were they were in here yesterday, and they had not been in my house before, so they saw my little studio in here, and they said, "Oh, you're just so organized." And I just always laugh when somebody says that. I said I cleaned it up before y'all came. There's just piles of things sitting. My piles are kind of organized, but I don't care how many tables I add in here, how many drawers I add in here, it's still not enough space. Okay, now let me get to this camera, and I'll go to me. Okay, I'm going to take you off. So, okay, there's several different ways to make it. I'm going to show you. I have a Perylene green, which is a beautiful winter green, and that's the color we're going for. If you want to buy that color, it's Daniel Smith, and it's I don't use it very often. That's why I don't tell y'all to buy it. It's just a very see how it's a silvery green.
Mm-hmm.
I was practicing with it today, making different attempts to make that color. So I clean my palette off a wee bit. I did it several different ways. I did it first with sap green, which is really yellowy green. See how that's sap green, and that's just too bright and yellowy for that. But if I add some It's starting to set up some ultramarine to it. It's a sap and ultramarine. We're getting there, but it's still a little bit too bright. It's still kind of a wintry green, but you can see that yellow in there from the
Mhm.
sap. So I'm going to reach over here and I'm just going to pick up one of my reds. I've got some alizarin crimson. Can y'all see my palette? Y'all, I can't.
Yes, now we can. Mhm.
So I have just a little bit of red there. I don't want to put too much red in here. I'm not trying to make brown. I just want to tone that down a little bit. I've wiped some of that red off and I'm going to do that. And it starts to make it look gray. And I may have put a little bit too much. Yeah, I did put too much in there. Let me do that again. I'm gonna go back. Instead of making another pile, I'm gonna put those two colors back in there, the sap and the ultramarine. And I'm going to put just a tiny little bit of red in there, just enough just to tone it down a little bit. And it'll come closer. And it doesn't have to be that exact color. But see how that's not as green as that? There's a little gray, it's kind of silvery. And
Yes.
you could use, I also did it with phthalo. It was nice and bright. And I can put some ultramarine in that, add a little red to it. And it gives me another wintry green, but it's not quite the same. It's still a nice wintry green. It's a little more turquoisey, but that's a pretty silvery green too. I could put a little bit more red in there.
That was the phthalo blue that you used or the phthalo green there?
Use the phthalo green. And
Okay.
the phthalo was so strong, you'll
Yeah.
notice a whole lot more red in there to calm that puppy down because it's
The bully.
yeah, it's really bully. So this one's got a little more green in it. This one is a little more blue, but it's just a wintry green because I think the red gives it that silver hue that we like to see in the winter time. But using the sap makes it more like the Paroline green. This is really a richer color and a little bluer. But
Perfect. Thank you very much.
probably going to do that in class on Wednesday. So I'm glad you asked that question. All right, let me get me off of there. And let me go to Lori. I think you were the next one that had your hand up, I believe. I may be wrong. Hold on, I can't get you. All these other things are in the way. Okay, here we go. There you go.
Well, since it's show and tell, I'll show you what I love to make ornaments, my friends. So these are a couple of ornaments I made. It's with acrylic.
Oh, those are beautiful.
Look at this green ribbon. This is when I bought a lot of ribbon at Michael's, and that was the first time I spent over $40. But I love this ribbon.
Wow.
So I worked on my lettering over Thanksgiving break. So and I wanted to show you, I use my friction pen to draw a line and then I erase it. So the other day I told you I'm going to show you another ornament. I told you the other day I was going to do an experiment and I put that the joy that I wrote and I left it in the refrigerator for 2 days and it never came back. The line has never came back. So FYI. So
what are we saying about that?
I'm saying the cold doesn't make it come back. So it looks like once you remove it with the heat, it doesn't come back. Okay. Does that make sense?
It's gone for good.
And you don't want it to come back.
You don't want it to come back because I drew a line here. Well, I tried to be bouncy, but whatever I did, I even did hope with a pen. And if I didn't like it, I could just erase it. So with the friction, the heat, I just love them, you all.
Those are awesome. I mean, wow, what a wonderful holiday. What a wonderful Christmas present.
Precious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my best friends, they get angels. Oh, and I put my little stamp on the back, created by Lori Jo.
I love that. That's
Awesome.
So
go ahead.
What?
Yeah,
What were you going to say? I have another one. But do you have a question about that?
I was going to tell you about ribbon. I know you go to Paris a lot, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ribbon shop in Paris. I don't know if you've ever been there before. I guess it's still there. It's been years since I've been there. It was the most fabulous store.
Well, I'll have to go next time.
I don't know where it is. I'll find out from my friend where it is.
I mean, I've walked there's been times I spent 6 weeks in Paris. I've walked all over. I mean, I just prefer by foot. I've been to every art store looking for paintbrushes and everything. So anyway, so this is another ornament I did.
Wow. Well, go
Wow.
slow. Oh, we can't tell what those are. I'll just go slow.
Little flowers.
Oh, yeah, almost like a rose or a peony.
I don't know, peony. Now I'm going to do this one next. I haven't painted it yet. So I like this color pink.
You painted, what were those? Were those wooden or were they?
Ceramic.
Oh,
And I got them at Michael's. I bought some last year and some this year, but I have to show you my last year's one. Okay. I'm going to show you how bad it was, just because I'm thinking everything you've taught me has just made me feel way more comfortable with my hands and painting. This is so ugly. I was trying to do a rose. And well, this is the one side I had done chalk. This is chalk, but this is how it turned out. You can't even tell it's a rose. So this is my last year's.
Yeah, it's not bad. It really isn't.
So I can paint over. I'll paint over it, but it was just the beginning from last year. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's right. I think it looks good. It's not as bad as you think it is.
thank you. So I think now I could probably do it. I feel so much better with. I mean, I have a lot to learn, but anyway, thank you. And those are my things I've been working on. And I haven't done my card yet, so that's on this.
Let me ask you a question about your lettering. You just taught yourself to do that lettering over Thanksgiving?
I worked on it. I have tried lettering for years. I mean, I was looking for the font I loved and I can never find it. And I mean, I never practiced. I mean, I have all kinds of exemplars, but this Thanksgiving, I just worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And finally it clicked after years of practicing. But I think that gave me some confidence.
You
What
do
were you-
one stroke, or are you going back and filling in the heavier lines? Or
Well, on this, definitely it was faux calligraphy. So I do use, if I want to, like, so now in my little gift bags, I have to tell you, my friend, her mom who's 96, she told me, and I always send her cards. She's my best friend. And she told me, Lori, I don't think mom's going to make it before, to Christmas. So I'm like, I got to give her gifts. So I took her gift. But I mean, the thing is, I love giving her mom cards. I've sent her cards for years. And I love to take just a paper bag and write on it. Like I did the Merry Christmas in faux calligraphy, but I do have a pen I use, a food that I do brush, but I did the little lights. So instead of painting on my paper bags, I did this with colored pencil just around the Merry Christmas. And it worked.
Did you make the lights like a little bit bigger than what were on there with your colored pencil?
Yeah, so the paper bag, I used white paper bag that I got, like a lunch bag, but it's white. And so, so I did my little curly things and it looked really cute. My friend's like, I gotta say, she put it with the card. It was funny. But I'm like, I haven't done my card yet. You'll get a card. But anyway, that's what I've been working on.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that kind of lettering for years. I'm pretty good at lettering, but that whatever that is with a brush pen, I've told y'all this before. My granddaughter started doing that when she was 13, and she has tried to teach me, and it's just something I cannot get it right for some. I could draw it and get it perfect, but to use that brush pen and make that one stroke and make that down stroke, I have practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. I cannot get the rhythm of that at all. But I do.
Do you use the best ones? Because if you use Tombow, it's like I took some lettering classes they're called Lovely Loops, and I spent one summer. I was in Paris, right, practicing in my little apartment because I was taking the class. But the little pens are way better than the big Tombows. I don't know if you know the Tombows because these are huge brush pens.
Yeah, I don't.
So
like
if you use the little ones, it's way better. I mean, your lettering will look great. Like these small food a. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a hard tip and a soft tip.
Yeah. And I just have both, and I just use whatever I pick up.
Yeah.
So I do brush lettering. I definitely do brush lettering, but I just did faux, which I think just looks as pretty. So
that's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll be quiet now.
And well, hold on, let me get. Okay, Sharon. Hello.
I have just a couple things that I want to show. I got my Australia sketchbook out because I still have some blank pages on it, and I got my gouache out today, and I wanted to revisit the Aboriginal art because I love it. I love dots. I don't know what my thing is with dots, but I like dots. And I also wanted to paint the giant pandas that we saw. And I was kind of pleased with this because I didn't sketch it first, the pandas. So it came out pretty good, I think.
Well, that looks
Oh, wow.
good.
Beautiful.
So cute. And I love pandas. They're so funny.
And you didn't draw that at all? You just painted it? You just
Yeah, the panda and well, and this too, because it's, there's,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
But the panda, I was really pleased with that. But I'll tell on myself. I was painting and I got done and all in here was I made grass green. So I thought, oh, well, this is gouache. So I took the dryer, I dried it, and I went back over and I did the white because I left his body off. Anyway, thank goodness for gouache. And the other thing that I'm working on is just another project, but really interesting. I'm getting ready to get my gel plate out again. So I've been playing with acrylic paint, and these happen to be some chalk paints and just some techniques. This was kind of cool. This is just blobs. And you put another piece of paper over it and then you squish it with your hands, which I did. And then I lifted the paper and then I turned it around and reprinted. So I got 2 prints.
Oh, wow. Mono printing kind of thing.
Yes. And I love the texture. See the texture?
Right, that's nice. Really nice. Yeah.
And then did one more earthy colors.
Oh, I love those colors. It's really pretty.
And I have to tell you, this technique blew me away. It was because you use lots of texture. But what it is you paint acrylic paint, let it dry, put another color, let it dry. And you can do like 4 different colors, but I only did 2 here, I think. But when it's all dry, then you spray it with alcohol and it softens the paint. And then I went back in and scraped off for texture underneath.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very nice. Are you going to do anything with it or just leave it like that?
I'm sorry, say again.
Are you going to do anything else with it or is it just experiment?
This was just kind of practice and learning for maybe some collage. I don't know. We'll see. That's all.
White drawing on top of that would be nice too. There's a lesson there, something that you said. You loosened the acrylic paint with
alcohol, rubbing alcohol. It's got to be 91% though. I had to go to CVS pharmacy to get it. And it doesn't take long and it softens that paint. And I had purchased a paint scraper, but I couldn't locate it when I was ready for it. Isn't that silly? So I grabbed my credit card that I have on hand for that. And the credit card took it off. Didn't, yeah. So just experimenting.
The lesson in that is if you ever ruin a brush and the acrylic paint dries in it, soak it in alcohol and you might be able to save your paintbrush because the alcohol is the only thing that will take acrylic paint off. Just a little FYI.
Off the brush?
Yeah, brush. If acrylic paint dries on a brush, it's pretty much ruined. But if you soak alcohol, you can, most of the time, you can get it off.
Okay, thanks.
That's just a little FYI. Okay, I don't know if thank you so much for sharing. Let me very quickly do this. Marilyn, can I come back to you at the very end? Do you mind if I come?
Really? Sure. Don't worry about it.
We've only got about 18, 19 minutes, about 20 minutes left, and I want to show how to do this little hot chocolate that I said I was going to do.
Yeah, definitely. Don't worry about it.
I'll come back at the end, I promise. Okay.
Okay. I won't hold you to it.
Okay, let me move this other way. So, where am I? I moved my camera, so now I'm having trouble getting underneath my camera. This one's real easy. I have drawn it on here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me go ahead and draw this a little bit darker and grab my pencil. I just drew an oval right here, and this can be wonky. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm having trouble seeing. Just a little oval here. And then I put, kind of made it an aura, like you would say in Zentangle, another line around that because the cup has a, the cup has a, the pencil's shiny so you can see it. That looks like it's drawn in white, but it's drawn in graphite. I made it a little thinner in the back because of perspective, but you don't have to do that. And I made it come in just a wee bit. You could make it straight down if you wanted to. And then this is going to curve the same as that. And then you can put any kind of handle on here you want. This is just the easiest one that you can just make it look like a backwards. Can you see it? There we go. Like a D, like the letter D. And now I'm going to put marshmallows in here. And I just made lumps in here and I make it come down and touch. And you can make them different sizes, make some of them come up over that back rim. And I will show you, we'll just color it brown underneath and make it look like they're floating in chocolate. And these are not really straws. These are just peppermint sticks. And they come down into the cup. And we'll do the little stripes on them with a colored pencil. Now, if you wanted to, you could paint this with red paint, the cup with red paint, and draw on top of them like we did this one with the white colored pencil. So, but I'm going to use all colored pencils because I love to shade. And I'm going to get a red, I don't know, and I've got Prismacolors and Polychromos. So I'm not looking at names. I'm just looking for one that looks like Christmas red to me. And I have a problem, but I think this is going to be it. And then I'm going to get one that's a little bit darker because I want to shade that. And then I'm going to come over here and I think I'm going to get a darker blue. And that's what I'm going to shade with. And I need a white, that beautiful white colored pencil I had just a minute ago. What did I do with it? Funny how I can lose things. Well, I got more of them, fortunately. Right here. Okay, so I'm going to make it have a shiny place here in the middle. I'm going to start with, I think before I do I want to put this white up here. And if I weren't demonstrating this, I would erase some of that pencil because the pencil will, the graphite pencil will smear into this white. And it's not doing too badly, but it kind of makes an ugly, dirty edge on it. But I want y'all to be able to see my lines. So I'm going to start with the Christmas red. This is Polychromos and it is called, this is alizarin crimson. What is this one? I thought that's what this one was. It's crimson red. Let me test these real quick and see what colors they are. And they're not very different. I'm going to use that one. And this one is Tuscan red. I love that color. I use that a lot when I use colored pencil. It looks like a brown pencil a lot of times. You pick it up because you think it's brown, but it's Tuscan red. So it's like a Mediterranean red almost. So I'm going to, I like to color the way that the form is going. So I'm coloring up and down. Some people like to color in circles and that's okay too. I haven't really given you all a colored pencil lesson. I'm just trying to get a coat of colored pencil on here. And right here where it's going to be lighter, I've just barely put some color on there. You can see how the brown paper is showing through. Then I'm going to press down a little harder over here. And if you had paint on here, when you put the paint on, you can actually paint watercolor on this, this heavy, nice brown craft paper. And you can do the very same thing with your watercolor. Just, you could paint it the same all the way across. And I'm going to take my white. And it's going to turn pink. And when I get over here to the edges, I don't want it to have a hard edge. It's not having too much of a hard edge, but I'm going to very lightly blend the red and the white together. Then I'm going to go back with my red and very lightly go over that and go into the white a little bit just to make a soft transition. I'm going to try to clean up my edges a little bit as I go. And I sharpen my pencils quite often because I want to get some smooth edges on here, some nice, even, smooth edges. And if you've colored it a lot so that it goes it goes down and it's got a wider edge on it because we've used the pencil color, then it's harder to get that nice hard edge. I'm going to take my Tuscan red and I'm going to blend this in a little bit. That looks just like a line. It's okay like that. It works pretty well, but I'm going to very lightly press with my Tuscan and blend it with the red that's already there. And I usually go back over it again with the other color, with the base color, and blend it a little bit more. And I'm going to do that on the other side. And I'm also going to, these are soft colored pencils, so the little flakes of them are coming off. Be careful when you do that with your finger to brush them away, because you can smear a piece of that pigment across your paper. And colored pencil will sort of erase. I put a little bit of a shading, a little bit of a line underneath that lip. And I'm going to go down here and make a dark line down here, because as it touches the surface, it casts a little shadow down there. You can clean that up. I'm going kind of fast. I'm going to color my handle. I'm having trouble. There's such a glare on here from this light. I can't see. And I'm going to take my dark, put it underneath there. And underneath here, I am going to put a little bit more dark on that edge. See some of that smear of it. And I'm going to press real hard on my white, because I want it to show up. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to, and like I said, I'm going to try to erase some of this colored, some of this graphite pencil, because it's smearing in with the white. I'll draw those lumps again with my white colored pencil. The marshmallows are starting to, I'm just coloring white on the tops of them. They're starting to melt into the hot chocolate. And I'm going to take a brown, I've got my brown colored pencil over. Let me see. Find my brown. Here we go. I'll probably use, I don't know, I'm going to start off with this one. This one's a little bit, what color is this one? This one is burnt sienna, so it'll have some red in it. And I'm just going to put some hot chocolate down in here. It's floating around the bottoms of these. And I'm going to put a little bit back here, because the chocolate's getting up on the marshmallows. I'm going to find a dark brown and put a little bit of dark in here. I may not put on everything, just a few pieces of dark. You know how I like to have more than one value. I'm going to go back with my white. I still have some pencil line on top of that I don't like. I'm going to smudge some of this white down in here so it looks like it's melting and becoming one with the hot chocolate. I think I'll separate those a little bit. And there's the marshmallows. I'm going to I think I'll put the white on here first, because if I put the red on first and then come back with the white, it's more likely to smudge. So I'm just going to make those curve just a little bit. And I'm going to put this is so little, the sharper point on this. And then when you put the sharper point on there, you can't press down so hard, because it will break off. Now I use a little electric sharpener for my colored pencils, but I'm very careful about sharpening them. I don't want to break it off down in, if you can get really rough with it, it'll just break off down in here. And also these are expensive, so I don't want to sharpen away the money down into the pencil sharpener. Now you could leave them just like that, But if you want to be, this has got the factory sharpening. Sharp. Boy, that's weird looking. I'm going to put a little bit of dark. And I may even use that to shade one side of the white. I'm just going to take that dark and go all the way down that side. And I'm going to take a little bit of, I think I'm going to press a little bit harder on this, make this a little bit redder. And then I can take the white and I can put a little bit, if it'll show, it may not even show, put a little bit of white. It's so little right in the middle to make it look a little bit rounder. Now, if you want to go around that with a micron pen or even a dark colored pencil, it seems like maybe, I think I maybe took the dark brown and outlined this. Find the whole thing. And there it is. That's it. There's a little thing right there that's bothering me. And I did that very fast. When I'm doing colored pencils, I like to take my time and blend. Also, you'll notice that I put some lines on there. I didn't leave enough room at the top for the to and from. So I, that's the red. That's the red. There's the, over here. So I make my lines. I think it makes your writing neater if you have lines to go by. You can put to there and from down here. Probably should have done it smaller. And there you go. Any questions?
That was awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now let me go back and answer any other questions that we have. I was worried about filling up the time tonight for some reason. Okay. Marilyn, I can always fill it up, can I? Marilyn, are you still here?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Raise your hand. Find you.
What?
Raise your hand digitally.
I put it back down, but I'll raise it back up if it will help.
Put you up to the front of the line. Okay, let me come back over here and add your spotlight. Okay.
Well, over the weekend, I went to a maker's market sale at the local public school, and I went because everything you buy, the proceeds go toward the arts program at the school.
That's not.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. So, and there's this one artist there, and she's written several children's books, and she's an illustrator. She teaches at FIT. And I asked her if she had some different things. Like she had these towels that she does, and she paints and then she prints them on the.
Oh, is that cute or what? Oh,
yeah, it's got all sorts of different animals that she'll do, you know. And I really wanted to know if she had a cardinal because I love cardinals. And then we got to talking and I told her that I finally learned how to draw a cardinal. So, and then we got into a whole discussion about how some things, you know, if you break them down into their parts, they're much easier to draw. And she got to talking about hands, which are basically, she said, a bunch of cubes. But then she didn't have any cardinals on her towel. So, but I did want to show, I finally did a cardinal.
Wow. So you can paint your own towel.
Wow. I could.
All you need is acrylic craft paint. And oh, that's beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for that simple diagram that you did. It was like, oh, okay, now I can do it. So thank you.
It's called shape to form, and art teachers, some art teachers don't like to teach that, but that's really the easiest way for most things is to break it down into simple shapes. And there are books, there's a lot of how to draw animal books that are, you could probably go to the library and find in the children's section how to draw animals, and they're all broken down like that. Great lessons, are really good lessons.
Yeah, I mean, I discovered in a painting class that I took one summer we were at somebody's house and they were raising chickens so where everybody's drawing chickens like lunatics. And all of a sudden I realized that chickens are basically three rounded shapes. There's one for the head, one for the neck thing that goes, and then their body. And then you stick legs on it.
It's like you've had a breakthrough, when
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
good. Good. I
Yeah.
love that towel. I wish I had bought that towel. What kind of, was it like linoleum print? What is she printing with?
Hold on, let me see if her card is here. Ugh. God, over here somewhere. Let me see.
Brenda, don't go away. I see your hand raised up.
Yeah, block printing. It's some kind of block printing that she does, but I don't know.
Really, and the fabric looks nice too. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I could find out. She lives in the neighborhood, actually. So I could find out for you.
See if she has a website or anything, or a
Oh, she
Instagram.
does. She does. It's
How about you post that in the on our Facebook page?
I will do that. I will do that. She does have a website. Yep.
Put that little
Sure.
picture of the towel in there too, so I'll remember who that is.
Okay. All right.
Fiona,
Fine.
that's great. That's incredible. Good job.
Yeah.
Great cardinal, Marilyn.
Oh, thank you, Sharon. Thank you. It was so much fun. I felt like, wow, I did it.
Okay, Brenda. All right, Brenda, do you have your camera on? I can't find you.
Yes, I do.
Should be at the front of the line. Oh, there you are. You were pushed over on the side. All right. And spotlight. Okay. There you go.
I just wanted to show that I finally finished my chili recipe.
Very
Oh.
nice.
That's
Very
great.
And you got the tomato sauce in.
That looks great.
Thanks.
That's
And I
beautiful.
called it Jay's chili.
Oh.
So yeah.
Actually, it's Mildred's chili. It's my mom's chili, but I guess I have tweaked it a little bit, so I can call it mine. She'd let me.
Yeah. Well, you make it. You've won awards with it.
That's
So.
it. I probably made it more than she ever made. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All righty, so that's it. I will see y'all on Wednesday. I'll be sending out. I was going to talk about if y'all have to leave, but I forgot to talk about the cards. I mean, not the cards. The bookmarks. I've got 4 of them that I've designed so far. 3 or 4.
Can you spotlight you so we can see them, please?
I thought I had another one.
Thank you.
Maybe I just have 3. Anyway, I will get these things out tomorrow. The only one that needs to be drawn ahead of time is the mushrooms, and I'll send that out. So there we go.
Oh, the cute.
Okay, I didn't do a Christmas one. I did some winter ones, and I had seen one that was a drawn with mushrooms stacked up on it. It was a drawing on some colored paper or something, but I love mushrooms, so I did a mushroom one, and this one needs to be probably drawn ahead of time. This one will take longer. This one will take not so long, and this one is really, really fast. It's just a very simple winter scene, painting snow with as few strokes as possible. I may have another one on here by tomorrow. I'll just have to see. Now I wanted to talk to you about the plastic sleeves. You don't have to have these. Brenda's taking up some of the room here. Let me move her spot. There we go. I bought these plastic sleeves a couple of years ago. I was making these and giving them as presents. And I'll talk about this more in class. You don't have to get these ahead of time. These were too big, so I just cut them off. I never liked them. They were that big. You don't have to, you can have a card, a bookmark that's just on paper and punch a hole in it. You don't have to do anything to it. There are some other sleeves. I have one that someone brought me from Stonehenge, and it's like a cellophane sleeve, and I guess these are online. I know that you can get these on Amazon. Just make sure we're going to make everything 2 1/4 inches wide and probably 6 or 6.5, or no, that's probably 8 inches. 2 1/4 by 8. This one is 2 1/4 by 9 or 10, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, 2 1/4 is the width of these. This one, which one was it? This one, because I use so much water, I cut it bigger, and I'll put all this in the instructions. I cut this bigger so I could tape it down, and then after I pulled it up, I cut away the tape. It was buckling without, I put a lot of water on there. So this one has to be taped down, and I will tell you what size to cut that. But we don't, if you're, the only one you need to draw is this one, and I'll have the drawing, the line drawing for that. You can also, I had another one here. A friend of mine sent me this at Thanksgiving this year. She had these laminated at Office Depot or someplace, and they look really nice when they're laminated, and you just come home and punch a hole in it. So that I think I like this the best rather than the sleeves. But just wanted to let you know that you don't have to do anything. But if you do want some plastic on it, after all, it is hand painted. It would be nice to protect it, I suppose. But that's what we're going to do in class on Wednesday. So then I'll give you a little bit more of that information in the resources and in the beginning of the class. We're just going to paint all those sleeves or whatever you put on them, the plastic, what do you call them? Lamination can be done later. Any questions about any of that?
I assume that's on watercolor paper?
Yes, please do it
Okay.
on paper. Like 140 pound or at least 100 pound.
Okay.
Better. And I don't think it matters if it's cold press or hot press. The what's that paper from New York? New York Central.
New York Central.
Central paper is just fine. So, okay, good to see y'all tonight. We had a busy night. Thank you so much, Miriam, for our Zentangles, and I will see y'all in a couple of days.
Thank you, everybody. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Janice. Thank you, Miriam.
I'll send out the recording, but there'll be no studio notes with it. Sorry.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.